What's stopping you isn't your talent, your intelligence, or even your resources. It's your divided attention. Every time you reach for your phone, every time you let your mind wander, every time you get caught up in things that don't move you forward, you are losing ground. You could be building something great, but instead you're watching others do it. Every second spent consuming is a second stolen from creating. You think you're just checking in, but you're actually checking out. Checking out of your own potential, your own success, your own future. Success isn't about working harder. It's about removing what slows you down. It's not about doing more, it's about eliminating what doesn't matter. The ones who win aren't the ones who try to do everything. They're the ones who strip away distractions until only the mission remains. Are you moving forward, or are you just watching others move? Every time you scroll through social media, watching someone else's highlight reel, you're feeding self-doubt. Every time you measure yourself against someone else's journey, you're creating unnecessary pressure, and that pressure, it doesn't push you forward, it paralyzes you. Comparison is the silent killer of progress. You see their success, their wins, their achievements, but you don't see their struggle. You don't see the sacrifices, the failures, the lonely nights. And so you believe the lie that they have something you don't. The truth? The more you focus on their success, the less time you have to create your own. You can't build something great when you're too busy watching. You can't win a race when you're staring at the person in the next lane. Stop studying their every move, start making your own. Imagine running a marathon, but every few steps you stop to check someone else's pace. Imagine lifting weights, but every rep you pause to look around and compare. How much slower would you be? How much weaker would you become? This is what happens when you waste your energy worrying about others. It drains you, it weakens you, it keeps you stuck in a cycle of frustration, jealousy, and exhaustion. Winners protect their energy. They don't waste it on gossip, drama, or distractions. They don't let their mind drift into places that don't serve them. The moment you shift from them to me, everything changes. The moment you stop caring about their success and start creating your own, the game shifts in your favor. The best don't just work harder, they work undistracted. They don't let outside noise dictate their actions. They don't let trends, opinions, or comparisons throw them off course. They put their head down and do the work. Champions aren't chasing people, they're chasing their best version. They don't care about being better than someone else, they care about being better than they were yesterday. You want to stay ahead? Stop looking sideways. Keep your eyes forward, locked in on your path. Instead of competing with others, start competing with yourself. What did you do yesterday? Do better today. What's your best work so far? Beat it. When you play your own game, distractions disappear and success becomes inevitable. Loud people seek attention. Silent people build success. Every minute you spend explaining yourself, proving yourself, defending yourself, it's a minute stolen from execution. You don't have to announce every move. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Let your results speak. Let your work do the talking. The most powerful moves happen in the dark. While others are busy making noise, winners are busy making progress. While others are trying to impress, winners are sharpening their craft. Master the art of quiet growth. Work in silence. Build in silence. Succeed in silence. And when the results finally show, let them be so undeniable that you won't need to say a word. They taught you to crave approval, but they never taught you how to believe in yourself. From the time you were young, you were conditioned to seek a pat on the back, a nod of approval, a reassuring word that told you you're doing great. But here's the problem. If your worth is tied to their approval, then your confidence is never truly yours. It belongs to them. And if it belongs to them, they can take it away at any moment. The ones clapping for you today, they'll disappear when the applause dies down. The people who cheer for your wins may not be there when you struggle. And if your sense of value is built on their words, what happens when they stop talking? What happens when they look away? If your success depends on their approval, do you even own your life? You have to decide, are you living for their applause, or are you building something that stands strong even in silence? You waste time worrying about their judgment, but they forget about you by tomorrow. That embarrassing moment you keep replaying in your head, no one else remembers it. That time you failed in front of others, they moved on. The truth is, people are too busy worrying about their own lives to be obsessed with yours. Yet you let fear of their opinions hold you back. You hesitate before making a move. You shrink yourself down. You play it safe, all because you're afraid of what they might say. But here's what you need to understand. They don't live with your choices. You do. If you let their opinions shape your path, you're handing them control of your future. They won't be the ones facing the consequences of your decisions. They won't be the ones feeling regret for the risks you didn't take. You have one life, and every second spent worrying about their judgment is a second stolen from your own potential. The leash is in your hands. Let go. Run. Your mind is a garden. Are you planting success or letting weeds grow? Every negative opinion you entertain is a seed of doubt. Let it sit long enough and it takes root. It starts to spread. And before you know it, your confidence is choked out by fear, hesitation, and self-doubt. The words people say to you, they matter. But what matters more is whether or not you let them stay. Winners guard their minds like fortresses. They don't let just anyone walk in and start decorating. They choose what thoughts they entertain, what beliefs they hold, and what voices they allow to shape their path. Losers? They let anyone plant seeds in their mind. They let the negativity take over. They let the weeds grow unchecked. And by the time they realize it, their dreams are buried under a field of doubt. So ask yourself, who have you been listening to? Are they building you up, or are they filling your mind with weeds? If it's the latter, it's time to start pulling them out. Why waste time defending yourself to people who will never understand your vision? Not everyone is going to get it. Not everyone is supposed to. Most people don't understand because they're too afraid to do it themselves. They see you taking risks, stepping outside of comfort zones, aiming for more, and it reminds them of everything they aren't doing. Instead of facing that reality, they judge you, they question you, they try to pull you back down. But here's the thing. The loudest critics are usually the ones doing the least. The ones who are actually building something don't have time to tear others down. The ones who have tasted real success know what it takes, and they respect the process. So why waste breath trying to convince those who don't want to understand? Why waste time justifying your moves to people who wouldn't dare make them? You don't owe explanations. You don't owe defenses. The only thing you owe is action. Silence isn't weakness. It's the strongest move you'll ever make. The moment you stop reacting, you take back control. The less you explain, the more power you hold. You don't need to argue. You don't need to prove them wrong. You don't need to shout over the noise. Just let your work do the talking. The greats don't waste time debating their worth. They don't beg for recognition. They build in silence, and when the results show up, no explanation is needed. So stop chasing approval. Stop responding to every critic. Stop trying to prove yourself. Instead, pour everything into your craft, your vision, your goals. Build something so undeniable that when the results come, you won't have to say a single word. Society convinced you that being quiet means you have nothing to say. They taught you that if you're not the loudest in the room, then you're being overlooked. But let me tell you the truth. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Weak people mistake volume for strength. They believe the more they shout, the more power they hold. But the strongest people, they know when to speak and when to stay silent. They don't waste energy proving themselves. They don't argue with people who will never understand. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you start owning your power. You don't need to justify your dreams. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Every second spent trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter is a second stolen from building your future. So let them talk. Let them wonder. You focus on your work and soon your results will make all the noise you need. Weak people crave attention. Strong people don't need it. Have you ever noticed how the loudest people in the room always seem to have the least to show for themselves? They talk big, they make promises, they demand to be noticed, but when it's time to deliver, they fall short. Because noise is easy, action is rare. If you're constantly talking about your next move, chances are you won't make it. The more you announce, the more you invite opinions, doubts, and distractions, and before you know it, you're caught in a cycle of talking instead of doing. Successful people don't waste energy proving themselves before the results are in. They don't speak to impress, they act to dominate. So stop seeking attention, stop making noise. Just do the work and let success be the only thing that speaks for you. The ones truly making moves aren't broadcasting their every step. You don't see the greats announcing every idea. You don't hear them begging for approval before taking action. That's because they understand a simple truth. Real success happens in silence. If you want real success, stop announcing your plans and just execute. Because every time you share your vision, you open the door for distractions, negativity, and doubt. People will tell you it won't work. They'll plant seeds of uncertainty, and before you know it, you start second-guessing yourself. Let them see results, not predictions. Let them wonder how you did it, because by the time they realize what's happening, it'll already be too late for them to stop you. A lion doesn't roar before the hunt, it strikes without warning. That's how power works. The more predictable you are, the easier it is for people to block you, doubt you, or sabotage you. But when no one knows your next move, you become unstoppable. The less they know about your plans, the harder it is to stop you. The moment you become unpredictable, you become a force. People will be too busy guessing your next move to interfere. They won't see it coming, and by the time they react, you'll already be 10 steps ahead. Mystery creates power. When no one can predict you, they can't control you. The ones who win don't just work hard, they move smart. They keep their strategy to themselves, they build in silence, and when they strike, they leave the world in shock. Every time you explain yourself, you give away leverage. People don't need to understand your journey, they're not living it. They weren't there when you struggled. They don't feel the weight of your dreams. So why waste time explaining your choices to them? Let them question, let them doubt, let them talk. You just keep moving. The ones who constantly demand explanations are usually the ones who don't have the courage to chase their own dreams. They want to slow you down, make you second guess yourself, keep you on their level. Don't let them. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're working hard. You don't have to defend your ambition. Instead of telling them what you're doing, show them what you've done. The more silent you become, the more power you gain. People fear what they don't understand. Use that to your advantage. The moment you stop reacting, you take control. The less you explain, the more they wonder. And when people start wondering, they start respecting. If you want control, stop reacting, stop explaining, just dominate. Silence forces people to watch. It makes them uneasy because they don't know what's coming next. It puts you in the driver's seat. While they waste time trying to figure you out, you're already making moves they never saw coming. So stop giving away your power with unnecessary words. Speak when it matters. Move in silence, and let the results do all the talking. Most people are drowning in distractions, wondering why they're stuck. They wake up, check their phones, scroll through someone else's life, and then wonder why their own isn't moving forward. They spend hours caring about things that don't matter, but not a single second on what actually builds their future. Let me ask you, how much time have you lost worrying about what someone else thinks? How many hours have you spent second-guessing yourself because of someone's opinion that won't even matter a year from now? You waste energy worrying about opinions that don't pay your bills, don't build your future, and don't improve your life. They say something negative and you lose sleep over it. They don't approve of your choices and you hesitate. But let me tell you this, your dreams don't need their permission. Focus is your greatest weapon. Protect it at all costs. Because the people who make it, they don't waste time seeking approval. They don't ask, what will they think? They ask, how far can I go? Social media fools you into believing that watching others is productive, but it's not. You tell yourself you're getting inspiration, but the truth, you're just distracting yourself from doing the real work. You see their highlight reels, their successes, their wins, and suddenly your own journey feels slow. Your progress feels small. Gossip and negativity are designed to pull you down. Every time you engage, every time you listen, every time you entertain it, you lose. The world is full of people who sit on the sidelines, commenting on the ones who actually take action. Why are you still listening to them? And here's the real question. If you're constantly checking on them, who's checking on you? If you're watching their progress, who's watching yours? You're sitting there comparing yourself to people who aren't even paying attention to you. Stop watching, stop worrying, get to work. What if, for 30 days, you stopped consuming distractions and started creating results? What if you took all the time you spent scrolling, gossiping, explaining, reacting, and redirected it toward your goals? No unnecessary scrolling, no explaining, no reacting, just building. Imagine waking up and using that first hour to work on your skills instead of checking your phone. Imagine replacing every wasted conversation with something that actually moves your life forward. Imagine where you'd be if you spent that time on your goals instead of their lives. Because here's the truth. In 30 days, everything can change. Not because the world changes, but because you do. You become sharper, you become stronger. You become someone who doesn't need distractions to feel busy, because you're actually getting things done. You don't owe your attention to anyone. Just because they exist doesn't mean they deserve space in your mind. Be ruthless about what you consume. Be ruthless about what you allow into your life. Unfollow, mute, block, remove toxic people, useless opinions, and wasted time. Stop watching people who make you feel small. Stop listening to voices that make you doubt yourself. If it's not helping you grow, why are you still allowing it in your life? You have a choice every single day. Feed your mind with things that build you, or poison it with things that hold you back. Your focus is too valuable to waste on things that don't push you forward. The ones who make it aren't just talented, they're disciplined. They choose what they feed their mind. They know that whatever they allow in will shape their thoughts, their actions, their results. Every time you stay silent instead of reacting, you take back control. Every time you ignore the negativity, the distractions, the opinions, you win. Because here's what most people don't realize. The less you focus on them, the more you build for yourself. The people who are always talking, always reacting, always explaining, they're distracted. They're losing. They're spending energy on things that don't matter, while the real winners are working in silence. Detachment isn't about isolation, it's about elevation. It's about stepping away from the noise so you can hear your own thoughts. It's about cutting out the distractions so you can finally see your own path. So stop explaining, stop reacting, stop waiting for approval. Go silent, go focused, and watch how everything starts to shift in your favor. Most people aren't failing because they're not smart enough or strong enough. They have the skills, they have the ideas, they have the ability, but none of it matters without discipline. The real problem? They don't have the discipline to stay locked in. They start strong but give up when things get tough. They get excited about new goals, but the moment they don't feel motivated, they quit. They let distractions pull them in every direction, then wonder why they never reach their destination. Let me tell you something. Talent means nothing without consistency. The ones who make it, they aren't necessarily the smartest or the most gifted. They're the ones who show up daily. They put in the work even when they don't feel like it. They do what needs to be done no matter what. If you want to win, forget about how talented you are. Focus on how disciplined you are. Because discipline beats talent every single time. There are two types of people in this world. Those who watch and those who execute. The first group spends hours analyzing others. They sit on the sidelines, scrolling through social media, watching people who are actually doing something with their lives. They convince themselves they're studying success, when in reality, they're just making excuses for why they aren't taking action. The second group, they don't waste time watching. They don't need to analyze someone else's journey because they're too busy building their own. They stay locked in, cutting out the noise, doing the work. They don't have time for distractions because they are obsessed with their own progress. So which one are you? Are you watching from the sidelines, or are you making moves? Are you studying success, or are you building it? Stop being a spectator, get in the game. If you want to win, start acting like it. Stop telling people what you're going to do and start doing it. Stop explaining your vision to people who don't understand it. Stop waiting for permission, for motivation, for the perfect moment. None of that matters. Cut the excuses, cut the distractions. Cut the unnecessary conversations. If it's not helping you move forward, it's slowing you down. No noise, no explanations, just results. Every minute you spend talking about what you're going to do is a minute stolen from actually doing it. Winners don't waste time trying to prove themselves with words. They let their work do the talking. So stop explaining, start executing. Success isn't a mystery, it's a process. And the first step, locking in. Set a strict daily routine. No wasted mornings, no aimless nights. If you wake up without a plan, you've already lost the day. Start your mornings with purpose, end your nights with progress. Identify your biggest distractions and eliminate them. No excuses. If social media is stealing your time, cut it off. If certain people drain your energy, distance yourself. If bad habits are slowing you down, replace them with better ones. You already know what's holding you back. It's time to remove it. Silent goals, private moves. Let your work be the only announcement. The more you talk about your plans, the more distractions you invite. Stay quiet, stay focused, stay locked in. Winners don't get lucky, they follow a system. Focus, discipline, execution. Focus means cutting out everything that doesn't matter. No distractions, no wasted time, just one goal, one vision, one direction. Discipline means doing the work even when you don't feel like it. No excuses, no waiting for motivation, just daily action. Execution means taking what you planned and making it real. No talking, no hoping, just results. The more disciplined you become, the more unstoppable you get. You don't need luck. You don't need motivation. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need to show up every single day and do the work. It's time to stop waiting and start building. No more wasted potential. No more distractions, just focus, discipline, and execution. The choice is yours. Everything you've learned so far leads to this. Forget them. Focus on you. You've spent too much time worrying about what they think, too much energy explaining yourself, too much effort proving yourself to people who don't even matter. It ends now. Your energy is too valuable to waste on proving yourself. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. You don't need applause, because at the end of the day, their opinions don't build your future, your actions do. Stop making noise, let your results do the talking. The ones who talk the loudest usually accomplish the least. The real movers, the real winners, they build in silence. They focus. They stay locked in, and when their success finally shows, the world can't ignore it. So from this moment forward, stop explaining, stop proving, stop watching them. It's time to bet on yourself. No one has the power to define you unless you give it to them. For too long, you've let their words shape how you see yourself. You've let their opinions hold you back. But let me ask you, what have they done for you? What have their judgments built for you? Nothing. Their words, their opinions, none of it changes what you do. From this moment, you dictate your life on your terms. You are not here to meet their expectations. You are not here to fit into their idea of success. This is your journey, and no one else gets a say in how you walk it. Take back control. Stop giving weight to voices that don't matter. From now on, the only opinion that shapes your future is the one you have of yourself. Think of yourself as a storm, silent while forming, but unstoppable when you arrive. Storms don't start with noise. They gather strength in silence. They build power where no one can see. And when they hit, they change everything in their path. The greatest moves happen in silence. The best work is done when no one is watching. And the moment you strike, the moment your hard work is revealed, it will be undeniable. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you've disappeared. Let them assume you're done. Because when the results finally come, they won't know what hit them. Keep building. Keep moving in silence. And when the time is right, the world will feel your impact. The second you stop seeking approval, you break free. Every time you explain yourself, you give away your power. Every time you justify your choices, you hand them control. But here's the truth. Winners don't ask permission. They don't wait for approval. They don't waste time proving themselves. They just take action. No more justifying, no more reacting, just action, just execution. When you stop explaining, you remove their ability to slow you down. You cut off their influence. You put the power back where it belongs, with you. So today, stop talking about what you're going to do. Stop looking for validation. Just get to work. And when your success speaks for itself, let that be your only response. This is it. The moment you take back your power, no more distractions, no more explanations, no more waiting. The world doesn't give handouts. Success isn't something you receive, it's something you take. If you take it back today, never give it away again. From now on, your success is built in silence, fueled by discipline and proven by results. This is your time. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, forget them. Focus on you. Move in silence. And when you finally hit, let the impact speak for itself.